Go in center field, and then you also have the American flag on the back of those Northwestern helmets. And Alex Miller bringing that big American flag out of the tunnel. All season long, we're celebrating 150 years of college football, and it is a cool, crisp day on the shores of Lake Michigan, just north of downtown Chicago. That's where we are in Evanston at Ryan Field. Football on BTN presented by Speedway as the Wildcats of Northwestern host the Boilermakers of Purdue. And we say hello from up top, everybody. Along with James Laurinaitis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. We'll hear from Elise Miniker in just a moment. Well, if you looked at the schedule in August, this probably looked like a pretty big game in the Big Ten West. It hasn't gone to plan for either of these teams. And we have two quarterbacks named Aiden today that nobody ever thought would start a game this season.
Yeah, exiting spring ball for both of these teams. Both these quarterbacks were fourth on the depth chart. And so both head coaches having to deal with injuries, having to deal with getting their young guys ready to play. Both these guys were probably expecting to be running scout team reps for these squads. And look, with Aiden O'Connell getting his first start today, he's had 2 scoring drives that he's led Purdue on this season, going 12 for 12, 127 yards and 1 touchdown through the air. Aiden Smith talking to the offensive coordinator Mike McCall. It's all about getting confidence early on in this football game with him.
And for Jeff Brom's crew, you mentioned the game-winning drive over Nebraska. That was a big win for them, so at least they're going in the right direction.
Yeah, and if you're a Boilermaker fan, Brandon, this is all about the future, and you're excited about it. 16 consecutive touchdowns by freshmen on your team. They lead the FBS with 30 total responsible for. The future is bright in Purdue.
Meanwhile, Northwestern looking for just their second win of the season. Their head coach, Pat Fitzgerald, is down on the field with Elise Miniker.
Coach, you told us that you want to control the effort and execution. So what does that mean that you want to see out of your offense early in this game?
Well, we got to start off right away by taking care of the football, and we got to win a turnover ratio. That's been our recipe for success. We can do that, control the line of scrimmage, we give ourselves a chance to compete.
We know that Purdue has trick plays. We also know that their quarterback is making their first career start. So what type of challenges does that present for your defense?
Well, we're going to find out right away. We have no idea. They know a lot more than we do, but just play fundamental sound football and give ourselves a chance to win.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks a lot. Go Cats.
All right, so those are the words of Pat Fitzgerald, who has won the last couple of seasons, last 5 seasons, as a matter of fact, over these Purdue Boilermakers. So Jeff Brom has never defeated Pat Fitzgerald. And as we said, it's a cool, crisp autumn day, 40 degrees. Temperature supposed to get up to 45. But this is good football weather, right, James?
It's perfect football weather, and the sky is blue, and we have a perfect view up here. We can see the lake out there, and look, these are 2 programs, Brandon, that are looking to just capitalize on momentum. For Purdue, you still have an opportunity at the bowl. You went out, you have a bowl, and talking to Pat Fitzgerald yesterday, he said the message to his team was, look, guys, if we get the 5 wins, there is a slight chance that we're that 1-5-win football team that can get invited to a bowl as well. So motivation tactics by both head coaches.
Feel like we have a light breeze blow the football off the tee every game, and that's what happened here before Trey Finnison gets ready to boot it away. Off we go in the second Saturday of November. Xander Horvath returning 5. And he'll get it at the 25-yard line. That is where Purdue quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who went to high school just 20 miles away from Ryan Field at Stevenson High School, will trot on the field here for his first ever career start.
Yeah, what an opportunity to get your first start close to where you grew up, close to where you played high school football, setting a school record in his high school for passing yards and touchdown passes in his 1 year as a starter. So he's got to be excited being close to home and debuting in front of his family and friends.
And those are the numbers you mentioned on that game-winning drive last week against Nebraska. He was a perfect 6 of 6. He'll try to continue that here as they start on the ground with King Daru. And nothing there that time for Daru. Back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10. But this Purdue offense, running the ball has been a struggle. Just 77 yards per game this year on the ground.
Yeah, but Jeff Brom is stuck with it, and he has a lot of respect for Pat Fitzgerald and that front 7 and what Northwestern can do defensively. But he said we have to stick with running the football. We can't just drop back and pass it every single snap.
Here is a pass, and this one right near the line to gain for Ahmad Anderson, the redshirt freshman. They're going to say he's a yard short, so make it 3rd and 1. But besides the 77 rushing yards per game, this Purdue passing attack is 17th in the country at over 300 yards pass test. You wouldn't think that with all the quarterbacks that play with the injuries. Nice outside by King Daru, the reigning Big Ten freshman of the week, with a nice gain there to take them into Northwestern territory, a pickup of 18.
Yeah, this is awesome play design. They bring the fullback back, and you can see Daru follow on the outside. They get the edge of the defense, and King Daru trying to direct their Milton Wright to get an extra block to pick up some extra yardage.
A touchdown on the ground, also one through the air, and being named the Big Ten freshman of the week against Nebraska. And here comes an early flag. This is going to go against the Boilermakers.
Full start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
There's the announcement from our referee, Jeff Cervinsky, to back Purdue up 5. Defensively, keep in mind Northwestern missing Greg Newsome, cornerback, and defensive lineman Sam Miller, both out for the year against Indiana. And nothing on the ground that time for Daru. Make it 2nd down and 15.
Yeah, that hurts them because they're already a team that is struggling to get to the quarterback. You know, they have not that many sacks on the season. They're 13th in the conference by getting to the quarterback, 15 only on the year. So you lose a couple guys there, and that's going to hurt your pass rush. And Purdue gives up a lot of sacks. We'll see what battle there kind of gives way here today.
In particular, Sam Miller. He's also a leader that they lost along that front line. Out of the gun. Quick throw to the outside to David Bell. David Bell stretches out to the 45 for a short gain. Gosh, that's Bell's 52nd reception, most in the country among freshmen.
And he's a special player, and that's why in the open I mentioned the future of this Purdue program, because Rondale Moore, who you could argue is the best wide receiver in the conference, heck, let alone the country, but you pair him up with the David Bell. Those two have barely played together, and you can see the production that David Bell has brought to the Boilermakers.
And now on 3rd down, it's going to be short of the line to gain. Bryce Hopkins. And then the ball comes loose, but they're going to say the play was whistled dead before Northwestern could carry it out of there. So now an early decision. It's going to be 4th and 3, and it looks like Purdue is going to opt to punt it.
You see there at the end, they ruled forward progress, it looks like, but the strip attempt is what Pat Fitzgerald told us yesterday in meeting with him. He said he wants about 75 to 80% of every single play to see guys stripping at the football. He'll be happy with that result there. Although the whistle blew, he has to be happy that his coaching is now going to the field.
Officially 4th and 2, and Brooks Cormier comes on for the short punt. And that's going to check up nicely. And Northwestern will start inside their own 10-yard line with their opening drive on offense when we return to Evanston. As Northwestern takes over inside their own 10 and faking the handoff, rolling right, Aiden Smith is able to find Riley Lease. So off the play fake, a good start for this Northwestern offense.
Yeah, and a nice movement pass and an easy throw for Smith that time to get him some confidence early. Again, offensive coordinator Mick McCall saying he needs to get some early confidence in his young quarterback.
And Riley Lease, who leads the team with 29 receptions, gets a gain of 13 there, and then they go on the ground. And Kyrick McGowan, look out! The wide receiver turned running back is off to the races. 10-5 touchdown. It's the first Northwestern score since October 5th against Nebraska, and it goes for 79 yards. BTN standout presented by Auto Owners Insurance.
Well, speaking to head coach Pat Fitzgerald, he said we needed to find a way to get Kyrick McGowan the football more. That's a simple handoff, and he takes it the distance. And you see the talent of that young man right there, and it has to give this offense a ton of confidence. 2 plays and in the end zone.
Wow. Kyrick McGowan was a wide receiver a couple of weeks ago. They said, look, we need bodies at running back. He can run the ball well, and this is what he can provide to this offense. They had gone over 210 minutes without scoring in the end zone until that play. Last 13 quarters entering today, no touchdowns, just 2 field goals, 7 turnovers for that man. Kyrick McGowan with 79 yards as you look at our Speedway scoring drive. Very tidy 2 plays, 34 seconds to go 92 yards.
And what talked about confidence early on, right, for an offense that has been well documented how much they've struggled. 9.8 points per game this season. And look, when you have an explosive play like that, it lets everybody on offense take a deep breath, and really the whole team. And I think the impressive thing about this Wildcat team, talking to the coaches and some of the players, is there's been no finger pointing. The attitude has been great, really leadership. That starts at the top with Pat Fitzgerald.
In his 14th season, university last year. Great start for the Wildcats, though, up 7-0 here as Purdue comes back on the field, and we take a look at James Laurinaitis' auto insurance impact players.
Yeah, for Purdue, Bryson Hopkins has been absolutely incredible for the Boilermakers, leading the conference in receptions and yards as a tight end. And David Bell, we've mentioned him a lot already. He is impressive. Joe Gaziano, legacy at Northwestern. He's close to getting the all-time sack record. And Patty Fisher, an absolute playmaker. Both of those guys on the Wildcat defense, active leaders in forced fumbles with 10.
Handoff up the middle for King DeRue, and he'll get 5 out to the 30. As we noted earlier, you see there on the bottom of your screen, Sam Miller, Greg Newsom. And both of those injuries occurred last week against Indiana.
Yeah, both hurt. You talked about Miller and his leadership, but Newsom was second in the Big Ten breakup. So 2 guys that are not only leaders, but guys that were productive for this defense.
Off the play fake, batted in the air, intended for Milton Wright. Good coverage by Trey Williams. Talked about the defensive injuries for Northwestern, but at least Northwestern also has injuries at the running back position.
Yeah, Brandon, they do, and I found out right before the game. Now, we knew that running back Isaiah Bowser was out this game. I found out that he's officially out for the season, so nice to see McGowan find the end zone there for them, I bet.
Yeah, without Bowser and also without Moten, they're going to need McGowan. Is that what is incomplete? But here comes a flag. Cameron Ruiz, the corner, was covering Bell, and I think they're going to get interference. Here's Jeff Cervinsky.
Defense, number 18. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, Cam Ruiz, you can see that he holds the left arm of Bell. This would be a better view of it. You have to give him an opportunity to get up there. Really, once you see the arms go up, Ruiz has to turn his head back and try to go for the football.
These corners against Indiana, they had 4 pass interference penalties in the end zone. And there's an early pass interference penalty here in quarter 1 against the Northwestern defense. So a 2-yard gain on 1st and 10. Purdue's David Bell, who talked about how explosive he is. You compare the numbers, not as good as Rondale last year through 9 games, but still excellent.
Absolutely, and you know, as a Boilermaker fan, you just want to see them both on the field at the same time, right? You want to be able to see what that offense would look like, and you'll have to most likely wait till later in the season or next year to see that.
And speaking of David Bell, well-timed first down as he drags 3 defenders all the way down to the 36-yard line, a gain of 18.
So far, easy throws for Aiden O'Connell right now. You have some slants early on in this football game, trying to get him in a rhythm in his first start and take advantage of that zone defense that Northwestern loves to run here.
Well, yesterday you and I were talking about this matchup. I said, well, these quarterbacks will probably see a lot of easy throws. You said, yeah, but Jeff Brom, he's still going to throw it deep. That's in his DNA.
It is, and you have to wonder, where are those trick plays going to come from? He has a whole catalog that he likes to go into every single game.
Yeah, what did he tell us? He goes in with about maybe 5 or 6, and he's going to try to maybe work in?
Yeah, what I thought was funny is he said, you know, if we've run one earlier in the season, sometimes you can get the whiteboard out on the sideline and draw one up if you think it will work against a certain defense. But he is one of the most creative play callers in the country, not just the conference, and it's always fun to see how he has adapted to all the injuries they've had to deal with.
Second and 8, and that went a little too far out in front of Bryson Hopkins. So now 3rd and 8 for Purdue. And they're kind of in no man's land, because from here it would be about a 51-yard field goal.
Yeah, and Aiden O'Connell had plenty of time. It looked like Northwestern was in quarters defense. The ball's just low and outside for Hopkins, and you want to wonder if this is 4-down territory for Purdue due to field position.
Out of the gun, O'Connell. Gets picked off by Cameron Ruiz. So he was called earlier on the drive for interference. No interference there. The first career pick for the sophomore. And how about this by the cornerback, coming over and stepping in front of David Bell to give Northwestern the football back. What a great start here for the Wildcats. Cameron Ruiz gets the interception, and Northwestern with a great start.
Yeah, and you see it's just a simple over route by Bell, and Ruiz is in trail technique and man football. And a nice job just keeping up with Bell there on that coverage and making the play.
Gowan, who had the 79-yard touchdown run, gets a pickup of 4 there. So Purdue is nailed for 13 plays. That's just the 3rd play offensively that Northwestern has run. Empty backfield, they'll swing it out to McGowan. They are getting him the ball early and often. Shoved out right at the line to gain. Look at the Wildcats offense here that obviously has been struggling, but not so far today.
No, they've been using tempo early on, and sometimes tempo can take the thinking out of it for the quarterback.
Stepping up to throw, and that one just buried into the ground. Actually almost hit Jalen Alexander, the Purdue linebacker. Anthony Watts was bringing pressure for the Boilers.
Let's see here, Watts reaching out and getting a piece of his arm. Causes that errant throw by Smith.
2nd and 10. Drake Anderson, his first carry out to the 32. Brings up 3rd down as we take a peek at Purdue's starting defense. They were good last week against Nebraska.
Yeah, they were, and you see Ben Holt making that tackle there. He's been a guy that's been all over the field for them. The Western Kentucky transfer, leading them in tackles with 89 on the season. Really becoming a leader. Talking to his dad, who's the defensive coordinator, Nick Holt, he said, you know, the longer this season has gone on, the more comfortable he's gotten with his teammates. His leadership has really elevated.
Boy, they've needed it. Watch the play clock. They do get the snap off here. 3rd and 6. Going for Riley Lease, and they say he caught it. Able to stay in bounds. 1st down Northwestern with a gain of 9.
And that's a really nice throw. I mean, he's coming from the opposite hash, those wide hash marks in college football, and he puts that right where it needs to be. And Riley Lee's coming up with a nice reception.
Now a handoff and a short gain of 3 as we go down Lakeshore Drive to Mike Hall for a T-Mobile studio update.
Guys, we've already got a score in Minnesota Penn State. It's Rashad Bateman, 66 yards for the touchdown. This was set up by an Antoine Winfield pick. The boats are being rowed up north.
Oh boy, are they ever. Minnesota and Penn State both unbeaten. What a battle that is in the Big Ten this week. First down throw here on the connection to Jace James. They're high on that redshirt sophomore, and he takes him into Purdue territory.
That's a nice job that time by McGowan at tailback, picked up the blitzing corner, gave Smith the time to make that throw in the zone pressure. And again, the tempo, I think, is taking a lot of the thinking out of it for Aiden Smith early on.
And they're going to do a reverse as McGowan gives it to Riley Lease around the edge. And he's got it down to about the 38 before he's dragged down by Jalen Alexander. All of that movement for 6 yards.
You can see so far, Pat Fitzgerald trying to drop whatever it takes to get going so far in this football game. A reverse here, and Lease, they gushed over the leadership that he's brought from the wide receiver position. They said that a lot of times he's leading the meetings with the offensive skill positions when they're going over scheme.
How about the keeper here? Easy first down run for the junior Aiden Smith. Here are the Auto Owners Insurance Impact players on this side.
Yeah, well, Drake Anderson leads this team in rushing yards. You know, he's an explosive tailback for them. Riley Lease is their leader, and on defense, George Karlaftis is just having a monster year. Ben Holt leading this team in tackles, as I mentioned, for the Boilermakers. But with Karlaftis, he has been around the quarterback nonstop. Most consistent player on Purdue's defense.
And a timeout right now because Purdue linebacker Jalen Alexander is down to one knee at the 30-yard line. And he's been battling a hip flexor issue. He actually only played 13 snaps against Nebraska, and you wonder if that's what's ailing him here.
Yeah, and they've been so banged up everywhere on their roster, but at linebacker as well. And, you know, when you're trying to play through injuries and you get the cold weather, Brandon, that makes everything a little tighter. It makes it harder to get loose and keep your muscles loose. So you hope that he's all right because they are getting awfully thin at linebacker.
Well, good to see him pop up here. Last time we had Jeff Brom's crew, we talked about how they only had 19 players listed on their two deep defensively. They only listed 18 this week, and normally teams list about 24 to 30.
Yeah, it's truly remarkable, and the guys who are playing with some kind of injury as well. And usually you hear people say, well, everyone's injured this time of year. Well, Purdue goes another level. You have guys who are legitimately out with serious injuries, and the guys who are playing through those bumps and bruises.
Once again, Northwestern on the Purdue.
So Jalen Alexander will sit at least this play out. Samisi Fakasieki, who was questionable as well coming into this game with an injury, steps into the linebacker spot. Drake Anderson stretching that out for a short gain of 2 or 3. Or McGowan, rather, there on the carry. He and Anderson both seeing action. We've actually had 4 different rushers on this drive and 3 different receivers for Northwestern. Now Fakasieki, just saw him go off on this play.
One on the play, second and 9 Northwestern on the Purdue.
He's been battling a hamstring injury for Purdue. 11th play of the drive, and number 11, Aiden Smith, winds up to throw it. And he's got the first down connection. Able to find Jace James for his second catch of the drive.
We're gonna move.
Yeah, an offensive coordinator, Mike McCall, said we're going to see more of James. And I found it interesting that some of his best throws so far by Aiden Smith have been rolling out. They're trying to get him outside of the pocket, throwing on the move. He's done well so far.
Hit as he throws, James diving, and he's got it for the touchdown. Jace James, for the first time in his career, hits pay dirt, and how about this? 2 touchdowns in 2 drives for Northwestern after not having any touchdowns on their previous 44 drives.
Well, Mick McCall has his quarterback in rhythm right now and has Purdue off balance as Aiden Smith stands in there, takes a shot from Karlaftis, but delivers the touchdown pass anyway.
And then the celebration for Aiden Smith and for Jace James, who's been playing the last 4 weeks after being injured the first 6 weeks of the season. PAT by Kuvander is good. Boy, Northwestern 2 touchdowns in less than 7 minutes after having none in the previous 210 minutes. What a turnaround.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Pat Fitzgerald was really fired up after that Aiden O'Connell dive forward that they called a first down. You know, there seems to be some space there between the football and the marker.
There does there, but, you know, you never... Different angle here on this one. And, again, these camera shots aren't always right down the line, but you can see from Pat Fitzgerald's viewpoint, it looked like there was some space. And look, every inch matters in football. It's a game of inches. You hear it over and over. It's not just cliche, because you don't know if that's 4th and inches. The next thing you know, there's a botched snap. You assume Purdue would go for it. You can't assume they'd get it. You're fighting for every single inch and any single second on a clock as well as a coach.
So it is 1st and 10. Quickly throwing it out to Anderson. Anderson breaks one but won't break the second. As we go to Mike Hall, we've got another T-Mobile studio update.
Brandon and James, another score for the Gophers. This time, Chris Ottman-Bell from 21 yards out. And remember, this is a Penn State defense, 2nd in the country, giving up only 9 points a game. The Gophers had 14 in the first quarter.
That Minnesota team, a lot of people are wondering, are they for real? This is the game we're going to find out.
Yeah, and they're talented at running back, wide receiver. Bateman and Ottman-Bell already making an impact. Tyler Johnson, also an elite football player in that position group. They're playing well so far.
Play fake, and he drops it right over the top of the coverage into the arms of Jackson Anthrop. Inside the red zone, 1st and 10.
Well, looking up here, I thought that was going to be an interception for Chris Bergen, the linebacker. Instead, he drops it right over top of him. Nice touch that time, fitting it in the zone coverage to Jackson Anthrop.
Throwing again. Short gain for Anderson. Give him I, too, thought that Bergen, though, was going to get his hand on that. Awkwardly off the wrong foot.
That's tough sometimes, there when you're in zone coverage and you're trying to get depth and you're trying to run and sprint back to get your body under control to try to elevate and make a play. It's a nice throw by O'Connell.
Rolling out, O'Connell throwing for the front of the end zone, incomplete, no flags. They say the coverage was cleaned by J.R. Pace.
O'Connell's pass is incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down. They've got 5 yards to go.
Third down and 5 as we get another look at that last play.
Yeah, I felt Pace got there right at the right time. You wonder if that ball was thrown a little earlier, right as Hopkins made his break. May have had a touchdown.
Back to air. Caught. And then fighting for the extra yardage. David Ballard with that. I think he got there.
Tackle by Cameron Ruiz.
Let's see where they mark it, but in the meantime, let's look at the effort.
How about that effort? Cam Ruiz does a nice job. They pass off the switch route. He drives, and he was stopped initially. But again, Bell's effort to shrug off the defender and reach for the first down marker, impressive.
It will be 1st and goal, but right now we step aside for an injury timeout. Next Saturday, BTN Tailgate going to Iowa City, all presented by Tums. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Purdue Pete just chilling out there on the lawn. By the way, BTN Tailgate was 2 spots today. That was pretty cool. They were here and they were at Minnesota.
Yeah. Getting it done.
This is, speaking of getting it done, this is going to be Purdue's 16th snap in Northwestern's territory as Daru gets shoved out of bounds.
King Delru, the ball carrier.
Still no points, but they're getting closer. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, and that's the first run besides the quarterback scramble of this drive. Before that, they had 8 passes. You had the QB scramble, but the first designed run play for Purdue. Their strength is passing the football. I mean, they are 2nd in the Big Ten with 301.6 yards per game. And you got to stick to what you're good at.
Daru running inside the right, and he's going to get it down to about the 3. So that'll bring up 3rd and goal. What do you call here? And also, is this maybe 4-down territory?
Well, I think it is 4-down territory for Jeff Brom. He's aggressive. I'm going to David Bell. I'm finding him. He's lined up down in the slot in the bottom of your screen, and he's the guy, number 3 there, that you have to find. He's your best player. He's right on the hash. See if they go to him.
Looking that way, throwing for the back of the end zone, incomplete, but flags. They're going to say that J.R. Pace tripped up Bryson Hopkins. Remember, this is a dinged-up secondary, and we just saw Cameron Ruiz go off a moment ago.
Interference, defense. Number 13. The penalty will place the ball at the 2-yard line by rule from the previous spot. 1st and goal.
Hard to tell there.
Hard to tell from that angle, and J.R. Pace was the one who was called for the penalty. They tried to run a corner route with Hopkins, and there was 2 flags thrown, so 2 different officials saw that.
I formation here. Little housekeeping. Cam Ruiz is back out there defensively for Northwestern as Daru backs his way to the 2, and then a flag comes in at the end of this play.
Offense. Number 79. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's against the most veteran man on that offensive line, Matt McCann.
Matt McCann making his 45th start at Purdue, and just extending, holding on there. And look, if you're Purdue, you cannot afford to go backwards here. You've been in Northwestern territory. Every single drive, you got to capitalize with some points.
So now it's 1st and goal, but from outside of the 10, Daru bounces it outside and takes it in for Purdue's first touchdown of the ball game. His team-leading 7th touchdown of the season, and how about Purdue now? 17 consecutive touchdowns by freshmen.
Yeah, and you mentioned Cam Ruiz back in the ball game. He had an opportunity on that run to make a tackle. He had contain on the defense, and Daru just did a really nice job bouncing it and outrunning Ruiz.
Dellinger right down the middle. And Purdue has something to cheer about as they cut that Northwestern lead in half with a King Daru 12-yard touchdown run. So Purdue gets into the end zone on their 18th snap in Northern Territory game, and as we said, what a stat that is. 16 straight touchdowns scored by Purdue freshmen.
And when you talk to Jeff Brom, he's talked about a lot of these guys they weren't going to count on when they got to training camp, you know, back in late summer, and just by way of injuries, and it's just come out that way. But and the funny thing is, not all of them have been on offense either. You know, they've had some by freshmen on defense as well. And that's why you got to be excited about the future in West Lafayette.
Low kick by Dellinger, but it works all the same for a touchback. Hey, speaking of those touchdowns by freshmen, here they are in super fast, high-speed motion, whatever you want to call it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to now 17.
See there, the one by Corey Trice on defense. Got to give the defender some love there as well. And on the action, talks about the talent that they have recruited and to Westlaw. And a lot of it out of necessity, but plays, and they've still won some football games. Stayed focused in despite all the injuries. They have not made excuses about it.
Drake Anderson hit hard. Then a flag comes in. Flying in from the secondary after a 4-yard gain. Good pop, though, was laid by George Anderson.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. 15-yard penalty being added to the end of the run. First down and 10. The face mask was on number 5.
So I mentioned a good pop by George Karloftis. He also gets whistled for the face mask.
Well, let's take a look here. You'll see the left arm go out, and you see the head. Once the head gets pulled that way, he did grab it with his left hand. See another look at it.
Three penalties now for Purdue. Diving attempt. Pugh, who's been injured this year, that's his catch of the season. They're happy to have him back out there.
Yeah, they are. Coach is saying that they really needed him to come back here, and they're excited. You know, again, offensive coordinator Mick McCall has said we're excited what he's going to give us down the stretch of this football season, and they've surely missed him.
Is that sack position, or we were saying earlier, Cam Green out, retired from football. So they need Trey Pugh and Charlie Mangieri. 2-yard gain there. All right, let's check in with the Aflac Duck for the Aflac Trivia Quiz. Give you the answer a little bit later. Here's the question. Last season, Pat Fitzgerald became the 4th Northwestern football coach to win Big Ten Coach of the Year. Who are the other 3? Get your answers ready. Submit them to James Laurinaitis on Twitter. James Laurinaitis. Dropping back to throw here. Flags come in before the snap.
Flag on the play. Prior to the ball being snapped, false start, offense number 80. 5-yard penalty, they're down.
We were just talking about Trey Pugh getting his first catch of the season. Now he has his first penalty of the season.
After the penalty, 13-12, Northwestern on their own 43-yard line.
So that makes it 3rd and 12. Purdue drops 8 into coverage, and they almost pick it. In and out of the hands of Simeon Smiley.
Yeah, Aiden Smith, fortunate a couple times today. Thieneman drops one earlier. Smiley that time had an opportunity to get the interception. We'll see here. He's just sitting in zone on the 3rd and long. Right into the hands. You got to get those defensive backs at Purdue on the jugs machine to work on catching the football.
Andrew David is the one punting it here for Northwestern. And back inside the 25, fair catch by Ahmad Anderson. Stay tuned for the halftime report presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Mike, Glenn, and Joshua will be along from our studio here just down the road to get you caught up on everything going on in the Big Ten today.
You see Ben Holt directing traffic there on defense, communicating as they show some pressure. I expect them to drop out into coverage on 3rd and 10 plus.
Play clock down, and Pat Fitzgerald realizes that his quarterback, Aiden Smith, wasn't going to get the snap off. He takes the timeout. Well, they have the timeout. Let's take a look at this message from Nationwide.
All right, Brad, once again, I have revolutionized the songwriting process.
Here we go.
I know I play an instrument, but this is my forte. Obviously, for all insurance, we've got a wheel route.
Obviously.
Retirement, we're going with a long-term play.
Makes sense.
Pet insurance.
Wait, let me guess. Flea flicker.
Yes. How'd you know? I'm studying my playbook.
Yeah, actually.
North to one timeout with 1:24 remaining. The Purdue band enjoying things here in the short couple-hour drive up from West Lafayette.
See a little bit of the chess match. This Holt signaling, getting a call from his dad, the defensive coordinator.
And they're going to opt to run it with McGowan. And McGowan is swung out of bounds. And that'll bring up 4th down and a punt coming for Northwestern.
Yeah, that was Cam Allen coming up to make that tackle. Another freshman at Purdue, and defensive coordinator Nick Holt was extremely about his future. You see Holt blitzing and forces that ball to go out.
Cam Allen almost had there, swinging him out of bounds a little too far, but there was no flag. So Andrew David had the fake punt. This time he does boot a fair offensive woes, though, today. There's been a cure. Already 255 yards after averaging 258 coming into play.
Yeah, I mean, the 20-yard play, not many explosive plays for this offense. Got today, and the main thing, though, is getting into the end zone. It's scoring points, and they've been able to do that. And now their defense is going to have to come up with a stop here in the 2-minute drill, and we'll see if Brom thinks that Aiden O'Connell can drive the length of the field here.
Aiden O'Connell dumps it off for DeRue here. After DeRue is tackled for a gain of 9, flag pending with 1:06 left in the half.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 72. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
That's on the center, Sam Garvin, and it makes Jeff Brom unhappy. Fourth penalty, so that back Purdue inside. Trying to figure out where to spot it, and it'd be at the 7. Now they want to talk about making sure they've got the spot correct. Again, Purdue does have all 3 timeouts. They move the football up to the 8-yard line. It's 1st and 17. Play fake, hits the pressure, and just getting rid of it. Ooh, was that grounding? Gaziano, and here comes the flag. And folks, he threw that from the end zone. Here's the call. Oh, wait, now they want to make sure. Gaziano says it's a safety, and if it is grounding in the end zone, that by rule is the call, but They're not going to make an announcement just yet. Now, why are they going over to Pat Fitzgerald here?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. You would make the call.
I'm trying to think. Right, you would make the call. Let's see what Jeff Cervinsky says. Now they're clapping.
The field is a safety because we were under 1 minute and the foul stopped the clock. Northwestern had an option for a 10-second runoff. They've declined that 10-second runoff. Free kick from the 20-yard line.
So that explains it. He was going over to Pat Fitzgerald about the 10-second runoff, but either way, it's a safety, and Northwestern leads 16-7.
We see it there by Gaziano on the up and under on the offensive tackle, and O'Connell just panics. Instead, you could have wondered, hey, could you have scrambled up, gotten the ball to the 2-yard line, maybe the 1, and stretched the ball out of the end zone. Instead, he just throws it away.
Well, for the first time, we welcome in our rules analyst, Dick Honig, and I don't think there's any question here, Dick, is there? That's definitely a safety.
Well, it is a safety because he's clearly not outside the tackle box. But because of the rule situation, he does have to ask the offended coach if he wants to have the runoff or not have the runoff. So it is an option that Northwestern would have had and declined to take.
All right, appreciate it very much, Dick. And I liked how all the guys on the Northwestern sidelines were trying to clap over the head for the safety.
Yeah, and again, the crowd got into it. You know, you saw the student section just doing it a little bit, but then the entire crowd started doing it along with the defensive players. And look, those rarely come along. So when you have an opportunity to have a safety, you're going to try to promote it the best you can. And it's a smart decision by Pat Fitzgerald because now Purdue kicks off from the 20. You'll have good field position and some time on the clock.
Riley Lease returning it. And he's going to get it across the 40. Here comes a flag as he's out of bounds, shoved out by the kicker, Dellinger, shy of the 50-yard line. We have had quite a few flags flying here in the second quarter.
During the return, holding, return team, number 89. 10-yard penalty, first down and 10, Northwestern.
So that is a penalty against Charlie Mangieri, so that'll hurt the field position for the Cats.
Yeah, you see him right there. Holding on to the jersey and finishing him.
Was that a Mortal Kombat reference? I feel like it was. 5 penalties for Pat Fitzgerald's crew.
And that's got to frustrate Pat because you have out in field position near midfield, step back a little bit.
Charlie Mangieri's trying to say that, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. Coach says, get out of here. And that really just the tenor of what happens here with inside of a minute and 1 timeout.
Yeah, if you're at the field, maybe you try to do a screen, see how many yards you can get, maybe take a shot, go for some points. Now, you have a lead, 16-7, field to where it is. Again, with Aiden Smith at QB, you're thinking, hey, let's run it out halftime, make some adjustments.
Touchdowns on those first 2 drives and then 3 punts since. Very content to take this 16-7 lead into the lockers. And all in all, for Northwest, solid first half.
Yeah, absolutely. You get in the end zone twice, and you've done a nice job against Purdue. Your defense has been your strength. Nice half for the Wildcats.
Stay tuned. Halftime report presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups coming up next from just down the road here in Chicago.
84th meeting all time between the Boilermakers and Wildcats, and Kyrick McGowan is having a half. 79 yards on this play. The Wildcats, who've had no offense, 6 points total the last 3 games, get 6 points on that play. Second quarter, Boilermakers trying to answer His Highness King Doru to the outside and the end zone. It's 16-7. Wildcats have the lead at this point. Glad to have you with us. Mike Hall, Glenn Mason, and Joshua Perry here. I mean, this doesn't look like a Northwestern team that's 1-7 at this point, guys. 0 touchdowns, Glenn, in games, and they're doing this in the half.
Yeah, I think the best way you could have described Northwestern's offense lately has been anemic, if that's the proper word. 44 drives without a score, straight drives, and well, today they're doing it all. You already talked. Kyrick, oh, and look at him go! And Joshua, you know what he's saying? Is that the end zone? I didn't recognize it. And then Aiden Smith in the fill-in role. Watch him throw this pass. He's going to find Jace James. Nice zip on the ball. He's going to come back. Smith to James again, putting it right on the mark. 16-yard touchdown. And then coming out of his own end zone. Look at that. I like the way he throws the ball to Berkeley Holman, 20-yard. Big improvement for the Wildcats.
You know, it's interesting because you can come out if you're the Wildcats in this game and kind of roll your helmet out there, haven't had a lot of success. To me, the mentality of this team to start being able to put points and have their defense play really well is a positive. So hopefully they continue this momentum.
The worst team in the Big Ten in terms of turnovers long. They lost a turnover again here in the first half. Story of the day in
Hulu. Yards for Purdue on the ground. 114 through the air. And Northwestern far eclipsing that on their side, at least on the ground game, because of the 79-yard run by Kyrick McGowan.
At the how 179 the other for Purdue, just 18 yards their longest play. Opportunities, both teams, and we'll see how the second half goes.
Well, the second half starts with a play fake and a throw out to Riley Lees, and he is shoved out after a 9-yard pickup. All right, well, you said let's see if they go tempo. Aiden Smith trying to get him lined up here. They do give him a first down, by the way.
And a 10 on the play, it's at Northwestern on the 35-yard line.
So a 10-yard gain and now to the ground. And Kyrick McGowan just back to the original line of scrimmage. George Karloftis with a stop.
George Karloftis.
Well, Karloftis does it all for this Purdue defense. Plays the run well. One of their most consistent football players. And it's not just the fact that he leads the team in tackles for loss and sacks, but he's second in the nation with 24 quarterback hits, 45 on quarterbacks. All at QB.
This time it's Kyrick McGowan catching the football. He's going to be just short again, bring up third down. But yeah, George Karloftis, if there is, of all the youth, of the brightest of bright spots, it's Karloftis on the defensive end. Yeah, and I mean, the amount of sacks that he has, having 6 on the season, that's the most since K1 Short back when he had 7. So obviously going on to play on Sundays, George being a local guy out of West Lafayette High School there, and there's a lot of hype going in, and he's definitely lived up to it. He was the top recruit in that Purdue freshman class. Kyrick McGowan taking it here, and he's going to be short.
Direct snap to Kyrick McGowan, the ball carrier.
Right back to where the play started, and now 4th down, and Northwestern will have to punt it.
I talked about the ability of Ben Holt to diagnose plays, and he just shoots right up the middle. Look at that. Forces McGowan to bounce. And a nice job of the Boilermaker defense to rally. But that's all because Ben Holt recognized it and took like they say, pull the trigger, take your shot. That was a good job out of the leader on the Boilermaker defense.
Great start to the second half for that Purdue defense, and they almost got a block there. Andrew David just getting it away, and Ahmad Anderson signals for the fair catch. Seems like maybe that Purdue spot got a talk at halftime from their head coach Jeff Brom, nearly getting the block. Either way, they'll have the football. Veterans Day just 2 days away. Purdue starts this drive with a quick throw to the outside and a pickup of 5 yards for David Bell.
I was going to say, who do you think they targeted on the first play in the second half?
The guy that they targeted so much in the first half.
Yeah, 10 targets in the first half, and he gets the first one here in the second half.
11 total. And this time they're going to Bryson Hopkins. He's been quiet in this 43 receptions, second most in the nation among tight ends.
Yeah, very productive football player for Purdue. And usually when a new quarterback comes in, you always come out, their best friend is the tight end because it's the shortest throw over the middle. And really exception there for Bryson.
Well, he was great against the Brett last 8 catches, 87 yards. And this time it's Amon Anderson. Great taking it to the Northwestern 45-yard line, a pickup of 17. And now he's coming off this play as Anderson.
Yeah, it's a nice move there, as you said. Senses the defender. I don't caught it to reverse back, but he put a move there on Travis Willock.
He's in a little pain. Anthrop in motion, but O'Connell wants to throw it, escapes the pressure, and is able to lead it to Bell at the 40. Aiden O'Connell showing a little elusiveness.
Yeah, and I mentioned how Plummer had just started to get in a run that way. Does a nice job. Bell working back for his quarterback away from the defender Ruiz, and that's been a fun matchup to watch this afternoon. Is Cameron Ruiz, David Bell. O'Connell, he doesn't have to be the most active guy, but just move the pocket like that, buys extra time.
Plenty here to find Milton Wright. First down, Boilermakers. Ooh, the grass being chunked up here at Ryan Field after that last play. That's a big divot.
Yeah, that's like me in the rough on any golf course in America. Fitz helping out the turf crew.
Who's your landscaper? Putting it outside to David Bell. And O'Connell is 6 for 6 on this drive.
A nice rhythm throw there, and Northwestern plays a lot of 3-deep coverage, which means the corners are play off and sink back, and so comebacks are usually a favorite against them for offenses, and that's a good rhythm throw that time by Aiden O'Connell.
Ruiz tackled David Bell by his undershirt there. 2nd and 5, and O'Connell's going to complete another easy one out to King DeRue, and that'll make it 3rd and short. And that is Alex Miller, brother of Sam, down on the field, will step aside. So the senior Alex Miller going into the medical tent. What happened on that last play was a collision with his own teammate, the linebacker Blake Gallagher.
Yeah, you'll see right here, both their helmets connect, and I've been a part of those before, buddy. You had the friendly fire, everyone's running to the football, the offensive player ducks down. Hope he's all right.
Gallagher did stay in the game. Now keeping it is O'Connell. First down. So great drive for Aiden O'Connell. 7 for 7 passing it, and now he picks up the first down run again.
And again, it shows the wisdom of the play calling. Right here, it's man coverage. So the defenders are looking at their men. You see Ruiz turn to get the guy out there in the flat. Again, the wisdom. Nobody expects Aiden O'Connell to run on bootleg for the first down on a short yardage situation. Great play call.
O'Connell going for the end zone, reaching up and grabbing it. David Bell down Purdue.
Pass is complete to David Bell. The score: Northwestern 16, Purdue 13.
So Aiden O'Connell finishes that drive 8 for 8. Hits 5 different receivers, including who scores here his 5th touchdown of the season.
Look at the placement by O'Connell. Only where Bell can make the catch, and you cannot give enough credit to offensive coordinator Brian Brom and his work with these quarterbacks. Each and every one of them that has come in has been productive for them. They've been prepared. No wonder why Jeff Brom was so high on his brother on the phone.
Aiden O'Connell fighting the freshman David Bell at Purdue. Only 2 points down. Later today on BT, and don't miss Big Ten hockey when the Gophers and the Wolverines meet in Ann Arbor for Game 2 of that series. That's today, 5 p.m. Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app. They do the push-ups because the Boilermakers found the end zone, and now within 2, the difference in this game is the safety toward the end of the second quarter.
Absolutely, and if you're Northwestern, again, you got to try to get some offense going here. You had a nice lead early on in this football game. Now Purdue is getting a little bit momentum. You got to try to take that back here with this drive.
And again, Northwestern's 2 touchdowns. They came on their first and second drives of the ball game. David Bell scoring that last touchdown for Purdue makes it now 18 consecutive touchdowns by freshmen on the side of the Boilermakers.
And that's pretty remarkable. Again, it just talks about the future of this program. Really the play calling of Jeff Braun, his ability to get his best football players, the football, and David Bell. You could sense after the touchdown, he was excited about that personal battle with Cam Ruiz.
George Karloftis coming up here, getting a tackle for loss on Aiden Smith. That's going to make it 2nd and 11.
We've mentioned a lot of these freshmen on offense and the touchdowns, but on defense, I mean, you have Jalen Graham playing as a true freshman. Cam Allen, we've already talked about. George Karloftis, Cauley Saunders getting some time today. It's not just the offense that has a ton of freshmen playing.
Aiden Smith, 12 of 17 throwing it, make it 13 of 18 as he slings it to the outside here, but that'll bring up 3rd and long. Aiden Smith making his 5th start of the season and able to get this out to Malik Washington.
And again, Smiley has been in really good coverage a couple times. He's had 2 opportunities at interceptions. The one hit him in the back, one hit him in the hands, and that time again in good position. There's no room for the receiver to run there after the catch.
They need 7 yards. Aiden Smith with an empty backfield. Throws and it's picked off. Purdue gets their first turnover of the ball game as Cam Allen, another freshman, making a big play. First career pick for the native of Bluefield, Virginia.
Yeah, Brandon and Aiden Smith just stared down the wide receiver.
Let's take a look at the first net authorized replay, and you can break this down for us.
Yeah, he stares him down, and really Cam Allen comes over from his safety position, but you can see the underneath coverage that time by Kenneth Major. From the first snap, he doesn't look anywhere else. There's great coverage, and Cam Allen just reads his eye.
Going down and grabbing at David Bell. Aiden O'Connell has completed 12 straight passes. By the way, that interception by Cam Allen, the only other interception of the game was by Cam Ruiz on the side of Northwestern. So we got 2 guys named Aiden playing quarterback and guys named Cam intercepting passes. Aiden O'Connell able to get this out to Ahmad Anderson, and Anderson dancing his way down near the 20 for a first down.
He's shifty. And I mean, my goodness, we saw it in the last drive. He was able to make a couple Wildcats miss that time. Takes an easy throw, gets enough for the first down.
13 straight completions for O'Connell, who again played his high school ball at Stevenson High, 20 miles away from where we are situated. First career start, a lot of family and friends here. And he's just going to get rid of this, 2nd and 10. But Purdue, remember at the beginning of the season, Elijah Sindelar, Jack Plummer broke his ankle against Nebraska. They had Nick Sipe retire due to back injuries. And now Aiden O'Connell coming home to make his first start. What an opportunity for number 16. And he's finding Ahmad Anderson as he slants inside and takes it down to the 12-yard line.
He's tackled by Blake Dellinger. That'll bring up 3rd down. They've got 2 yards to go.
Over 200 yards passing now for O'Connell. He did have the first half interception, but all in all, he's played pretty well.
Yeah, he said, especially in the second half. You can see the adjustments by Jeff Brom at halftime, and he seems to be in a much better rhythm so far in these 2 drives in the second half.
Going for the end zone. Anderson reaching out, and he grabbed it.
Touchdown.
Ahmad Anderson. Another freshman in the end zone for Purdue, and the Boilermakers have their first lead of the afternoon.
The score, Purdue 20, Northwestern 16.
That last play.
8 seconds. Purdue, obviously halftime adjustments working well for them.
Working very well. This game has flipped quickly. Aiden O'Connell coming home. He did this a lot at Stevenson High School, and now he's doing it at Ryan Field as he finds Ahmad Anderson to put Purdue in front.
Get into med school and continue to go on with their academic careers.
Handoff, and this is going to work out well for Purdue. Drake Anderson is dropped in the backfield by Anthony Watts, a loss of 5. Remember, Watts was injured at Penn State, had to sit out some. They're glad to have him back.
Yeah, what a get off. The penetration on the inside there. Just gets upfield, uses that left arm to rip, and we used to say that's cutting the field in half. You don't allow the back to get outside there, and celebrates after the TFL.
Almost cut Drake Anderson in half. At 6'4", 300 pounds, a native of Houston, Texas. Getting it out to Anderson right through his hands. I don't know that he would have gotten much anyways, but now it's 3rd and 15 for what all of a sudden is a sputtering Northwestern offense again.
Play like that is really just it's a way of dressing up a run play. You're trying to get somewhere closer to 3rd and 10, pick up 5 yards, and it's tough when you have an offense that hasn't gotten anything going here in the second half to operate out of 3rd and 15. It's a tough situation.
You saw it on your screen, but the 2 touchdowns came on their first 2 drives of the game, and now they're going to be punting here. Clean coverage by Dedrick Mackey, knocking it free of Jalkio Bowman.
And you can tell the zone coverage that time a little deeper in their drops, which forces the throw to go a little bit higher. And Mackey does a nice job closing. You see the zone defenders underneath a little deeper. That Smiley makes that ball get thrown high, because if not, Smiley's there in good position for an interception. Nice adjustment by those guys.
Academic superstar Tyler Gillikin now coming out to snap it to Andrew David. Remember, David had the fake punt and ran it for a first down, but not here. He's punting it all the way, and a fair catch by Jackson Anthrop with 14 and change to go. Current Big Ten Conference standings presented by Discover. Ohio State well on their way to staying undefeated. Penn State, Minnesota in a battle right now.
Yeah, they are, and really an impressive showing by the Gophers. All the narrative nationally has been, oh, who have they played? Well, now they're playing the number 4 team in the country, and they have them on the ropes there in a really close football game, and the Gophers scaring the Nittany Lions right now.
And that guy wants to remind you, don't forget to tune into the Big Ten Championship game presented by Discover, December 7th on Fox.
O'Connell's pass is complete to Milton Wright.
And O'Connell is completing it out to Milton Wright here to start this drive, but not much there.
Gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9 Purdue on their 18-yard line.
An important drive here as Purdue tries to lengthen that lead. Off the play action, O'Connell just gets rid of it as the pressure was coming. It was coming quickly that time by Eku Leota. They thought he played pretty well against Indiana. Redshirt freshman here disrupting things.
Yeah, Purdue trying to set up a screen. And Daru just gets caught up there, and you can see he was trying to release, and really great recognition. Bumped into Alex Miller. Good to see him back in the football game, and because of that safety, Gaziano got credited with the sack, and now half a sack away from the career record here at Northwestern.
Yeah, one sack will do it. Of course, a half sack to tie, and now this is a design quarterback run, but only able to get it across the 20 to the 21-yard line before Blake Gallagher stops Aiden O'Connell. Brings up 4th down.
Surprised by that play call for 2 reasons. One, O'Connell isn't much of a runner. We saw him surprise Northwestern's defense earlier on a bootleg action, but just the depth chart, you have a risk there of O'Connell getting hit and getting injured. Then you're into an emergency situation. I mean, Paul Peferi is up as the backup, but after that, Jeff Brom said they're in a real emergency situation.
Yeah, but behind Peferi, they thought about maybe using Cam Allen, who had an interception earlier this game, the safety. Riley Lees is going to put this into plus territory, so great starting field position coming up for Northwestern. And here we are in a 21-16 battle, and Northwestern taking over inside the Boilermaker 50. No touchdown since the first quarter, and Drake Anderson started off with a 3-yard gain for that Northwestern offense that's trying to get back on track. Running backs against Indiana for Northwestern last week. 13 carries, 22 yards. They've been much better here. Big thanks to Kyrick McGowan's 146 on the ground. This time to the air, Aiden Smith setting up, firing it complete inside the 20. And all the way down to the 10-yard line goes Berkeley Holman.
We're gonna move. No change.
And again, nice job by Aiden Smith, buying time with his legs, keeping his eyes downfield. You see him escape out here, but he's looking for a wide receiver. And Holman stops his route, comes back to the football for the big gain.
33-yard gain. Up the middle, Drake Anderson. Down to the 8. First 2 drives, the 2 touchdowns, and then 5 punts, an interception, and a turnover on down since. Aiden Smith trying to get him back to pay dirt. Pressure coming, throws for the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown by Riley Lees. His 6th catch of the day, his first score of the day, and Northwestern has the lead. And the first time they've hit 20 points since week 2, and now you'd have to think they're going to go for 2.
Yeah, nice job this time. Smith looking to Lees the entire way. And you see him secure the possession, look down, get his foot in bounds as he was able to beat Smiley.
Northwestern in formation for a 2-point conversion.
And as suspected, here they go to try to make it a 3-point game. Nick Holt shouting at his defense. A reverse. Riley Lees is going to throw it. He was looking for the quarterback, Aiden Smith, but it's batted free. Purdue was not fooled.
Smith hands off to Anderson.
Interesting 2-point conversion try, but even though they didn't get that, Northwestern is back in the driver's seat thanks to Riley Lees. Football on BTN is brought to you by USAA. Hey, let's thank our veterans. Join us at USA.com/Veterans Day. And brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today. Purdue with the world's largest drum coming into enemy territory. They had the lead for a little bit, but now Northwestern back in front. Horvath will go down to a knee. By the way, on the two-point conversion, was that the Philly special that we saw?
It was, but I think Northwestern, it only works if the defense is in man coverage because you don't have somebody to account for the quarterback. So you run it expecting man coverage, which a lot of people run on defense when you're on a two-point conversion because it's so tight down there. However, defensive coordinator Nick Holt threw out some zone, and they had nowhere to go with the football.
But Aiden Smith was still able to connect with Riley Lees for the go-ahead score. And now the Northwestern defense back out there against the 3-6 Purdue Boilermakers, who are looking for 2 wins in a row. Aiden O'Connell just able to get rid of it. But not much on the play as he gets it out to King Daru. T-Mobile studio update again. Here's Mike Hall.
Brandon, the update from Minneapolis is more Gophers. This is Rashad Bateman, which would set up a Seth Green couple-yard touchdown run. Then the Minnesota defense responded with the goal line stand on Penn State. About 8 minutes to go in Minneapolis.
So Minnesota still hanging strong, trying to stay undefeated. David Bell diving out to the 32. That'll bring up 3rd and 3.
That'll bring up 3rd down. 3 yards to go.
Aiden O'Connell, the walk-on. The only walk-on they can ever remember getting a start for Purdue. Throwing it downfield, and it is incomplete. Anderson had it for a second off the helmet of Cam Ruiz, but it was ultimately jarred free.
I mean, this was almost a spectacular catch by Anderson, but give Cameron Ruiz credit. You can see him continually using his hands to try to get that football out of the hands of Anderson. That's a big-time play by Cameron Ruiz.
Ruiz has been targeted a lot today, and again, Greg Newsome, their top cornerback, was injured a week ago, but Ruiz able to win that battle. And now a low punt by Brooks Cormier. Fair catch inside the 40, just a 30-yard punt. All right, thank you, Mike. Last possession for Northwestern as they get the football back here. They were able to take the lead. The big play was the throw downfield to Berkeley Holman.
Yeah, Smith, again, nice job keeping his eyes downfield. Nice job by Holman working back to the football. Nice throw and catch, and then the touchdown throw there. The Riley Lees in the end zone. Northwestern deciding to go for 2, running a little version of the Philly special, but it's no good as Lees just trying to throw a jump ball up to Smith.
This drive starts with a Drake Anderson run of 4. Elise, what do you have?
Well, as you can imagine, after that Northwestern score, defensive coordinator Nick Holt not happy, pulling his son and the leader of this defense, Ben Holt, aside before he could get to the bench. Anthony Watson, we just have to outlast these guys. And I just overheard Ahmad Anderson say, that ball was awkward. I didn't think Ruiz even saw it right. So that's kind of what he's claiming the drop to.
Well, now this defense is going to have to stand tall. Well, they've got him in a 3rd down situation here, 3rd and 3. The way that Northwestern is going right now is where all 6 touchdowns have been scored in this game in the same end zone. With the wind at their backs. Smith gets it outside. Now the work begins to try to get to the marker, and what an effort and a job well done by Riley Lees, who is just having a spectacular game.
Yes, he is, and his leadership, his work ethic is something that these coaches have been gushing about, and you see it right here, his toughness, taking a simple, quick throw, cutting up field, and getting that 1st down, and Riley Lees has been an important part for them to maintain a positive attitude with the offensive struggles, having a good day today.
Cutting it back, Purdue, inside of 8 minutes to go.
Well, they had him. 2 defenders here. You have to V the offensive player, meaning one guy has inside, one guy has the outside. You kind of imagine a V there going to pursue him. Instead, over pursuit, a nice move by Smith that time. And Northwestern has put up some yards. They're almost to 400 total yards coming in. They didn't have 300 yards in a Big Ten game all season. So offensive production so far, they're looking to try to get another score.
Right up the middle. Full head of steam for Drake Anderson. I mean, the season high passing yardage wise, you mentioned total yards in the Big Ten, but was 165 against UNLV. Aiden Smith right now 6 away from 200. And everybody knows the quarterback story for them. Hunter Johnson, the highly touted transfer from Clemson, but he couldn't get the job done. Had some off-the-field things to worry about with his mother going through chemotherapy, so they turned the reins over to Aiden Smith. And he's driving him here with a 1-point lead. Second down and 6, inside handoff. First carry of the game for Evan Hull, the freshman. And he'll get 5 yards. There is Hunter Johnson. So much hype, but again, mother battling cancer. He's had to deal with that, and he's struggled when he's been on the field, James.
Yeah, there's been a lot to go on in that young man's life so far this season, and a lot to deal with. And you hope that he's able to kind of push a reset button here towards the end of the season and maybe in the offseason to kind of get his personal life under control.
And pushing forward here, this will be a first down, but the ball comes free. Now Purdue claiming they have it. So let's see as they dig to the bottom of the pile. Still no signal. It looks like Northwestern keeps the football. Watch Aiden Smith. Wow. Through all that, somehow the quarterback got it back.
Unbelievable. How about the camera angle? I mean, good job by the crew getting that one, but that ball bouncing around there. Remember earlier in the game when Coach Fitz was arguing about the first down or not? I said, you never know on a quarterback sneak. You never know what can happen on a snap. That's what I'm talking about right there. You never know. You can't assume anything, Brandon.
Well, and now they're going to measure this. We had a measurement earlier in the game that was controversial that ultimately resulted in a Purdue first down. Now Northwestern is hoping for the same fortune. That is not controversial. That's what you call an obvious first down.
Better safe than sorry.
I don't know that I've ever seen a measurement that's been that blatant.
Well, the chain crew is getting cold, so they want to take a little jog across the field there.
Oh. Let's go back down to Elise Miniker.
Guys, I just got word that Kyrick McGowan has gone for x-rays on his lower body. He's questionable to return until we learn more, so not good news for the Wildcats, guys.
Boy, not good news at all. 146 yards and a touchdown for him. So right now, it's Drake Anderson in the backfield alongside Aiden Smith. Lee's in motion, but it's Anderson. pushing his way forward at 5'11", 190 pounds to the 18-yard line. 5 minutes to go. Of course, even if they score and kick the extra point, it's still a one-possession ball game.
You see right here the offensive woes coming in, and then the performance you're seeing from Northwestern today. 421 total yards today. The amount of 20-plus yard plays been very impressive. See if they can seal the victory here, trying to add more to the scoreboard.
That taken for a first down, gain of 4. The yards this quarter, 9-11. Purdue only has 11 yards in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, in this drive, they've been doing it on the ground. It seems like they're really trying to milk that clock and impose their will. And again, that's why you saw Nick Holt, the defensive coordinator for Purdue, so fired up earlier on in this drive, because the fact is they're just running the football, taking up a lot of time, over 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is the ideal. You're exactly right. The ideal Northwestern drive is going on right now. Anderson, flag comes in as he's tackled by the ankles. George Karloftis with a stop. Well, we will see what the laundry is about.
Holding. Offense. Number 70. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, that's the first thing on this drive that's gone the way of the Purdue Boilermakers. Stay tuned. Mike, Glenn, and Joshua will be along with the State Farm postgame. They'll get you caught up on everything happening in the Big Ten today. Here's the hold on the left side.
You see here, he just twists, Slater does, kind of tackles him, pulls Sullivan back on top of him. That's an obvious call for the official. And that's a big penalty. Not only does it make it a longer field goal try if you have to settle for 3, but 1st and 20, not ideal.
Anderson to the 20-yard line. So 2nd and 16. Now Purdue is going to opt to take one of their 3 timeouts. We'll step aside. A 1-point game with 3:21 to go.
BTN connects you to your Boilermakers. Subscribe and follow for live in-game updates and exclusive content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Stay connected with BTN's Boilermakers updates.
This Veterans Day, November 11th, BTN and USAA would like to thank all our military veterans for their service to our country.
So Purdue still 2 timeouts left. Nick Holt trying to implore that defense to hold Northwestern here. Even if they hold Northwestern, though, a field goal is huge because that means that Purdue would have to score a touchdown.
And like you said, no one has scored a touchdown going the direction that Purdue is going right now. So regardless, that's been tough sledding all day long for both teams. If you're Coach Holt, you're trying to figure out, how do I call this? Do I get aggressive, dial up a blitz to try to knock them out of field goal range?
They're going to hand it off. Here's Northwestern and get it to the 15-yard line. So that will bring up 3rd and 11 on a gain of 5. And now Purdue will take another timeout.
And again, 1st and 20, 2 handoffs, getting 4.5 carry.
We step aside for 30 seconds.
From the early years to today, learn how college football has grown since it all began. Dave Repson hosts a celebration of the birthplace, 150 years of college football. Monday at 7 Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app.
Subscribe to BTN Plus for live streaming of more than 1,400 non-televised Big Ten events, next-day on-demand game archives, and BTN's library of classic games and original programs. Go to btnplus.com or download the app today.
Pat Fitzgerald has defeated Purdue 5 straight times, trying to make it 6 straight. His team facing a third down here in field goal territory. Yeah, do you run the ball here and force Purdue to use that last time out?
Yeah, I would. I would run the football here. You have the wind at your back. A field goal makes it extremely difficult for Purdue heading into the wind to have to get a touchdown. I'd run it.
Then they will. Nothing doing. Good stop. Coming up, Samisi Fakasieki to stop Anderson. And Purdue's going to let the clock roll and keep that last time out. And this will set up a very important field goal for Northwestern and their kicker, Charlie Kubander. But they're just going to let the clock wind all the way down to 1 second. Northwestern's going to burn a timeout of their own. Nick Holt, he just cracks me up. Can you imagine how many Red Bulls he drinks pre-game?
I don't think he needs any. I think he's naturally just fired up all the time.
Northwestern takes a timeout. We'll be back with a field goal attempt. Even though they're down, a big day for David Bell.
Well, he's been sensational, and he has the entire season for Purdue, and the true freshman having an absolutely brilliant day. And how about this touchdown reception? Nicely done.
He's our Duluth Trading Company hardest working player. Now he's working hard trying to stay loose on the bike. That offense is going to get a shot here, but will they need a touchdown or a field goal? The field goal by Charlie Kubander, the field goal attempt will decide that. It's from 32 yards, just inside the left hash. Kick is on the way, and Kubander hits it off the upright. No good. And it remains a 1-point game with 2.5 minutes to play.
Is it something about this town and field goals off the upright?
You're going to go there with the Chicago Bears?
Yeah.
Charlie Kubander was 8 for 10 this season. This one doinks off the upper left.
And you mentioned how big of a miss this is, Brandon, with the fact of the Purdue Boilermakers, all they need now is a field goal. Now, granted, they're going to have to get closer in because of that wind factor being in their face. And we'll see if Purdue could be the first team to score going into the wind here today.
Kubander, who's been so good for Northwestern, beside himself after the miss. So Aiden O'Connell back out there, and that pass incomplete. They're going to say that was a forward pass, not a lateral, so it's incomplete out to King DeRue. O'Connell also got put on his back.
That might actually be a good thing that DeRue dropped that football, because the ball was behind him. He had no momentum to go forward. That would have been a tackle for loss.
Just 11 yards in this fourth quarter after a very good third quarter for Purdue. That's a big catch, but a flag comes in. Bryson Hopkins with a reception. Let's see if it stands. Looks like it's going to be a hold on Northwestern.
Prior to the pass being thrown, holding defense number 7. The result of the play is greater than the penalty, so the penalty is declined. First down and 10.
A pickup of 11.
Yeah, you can see right there, grabbing on the back of the jersey, and regardless, Hopkins makes the catch.
Well, Aiden O'Connell has been here before. When Jack Plummer got injured against Nebraska last week, he came in for the game-winning drive and was a perfect 6 for 6. Now he's trying to guide Purdue to another game-winning drive. Low throw, but it's caught by Jackson Anthrop. He put that where only Anthrop could get it.
Yeah, the coverage wasn't terrible. He put it down and away from the defender. Anthrop does a nice job, though, going down to secure that football.
Gain of 10. O'Connell, downfield! He's got Bell! Did Bell hold on? No! They say he dropped it. That's too bad because David Bell had a step.
Yes, he did, and he had a double move. He has Ruiz beat, and you can see he's trying to juggle it, and as he hits the ground, it comes free. But I love the play call. Take a shot. Give your best player on the field a chance to make a play. Just drops it.
Good call. Remember, as you said, throwing into the wind here is Aiden O'Connell. This time off his back foot. Flag. Ahmad Anderson was the intended target, but they're going to get Northwestern here, I believe.
Pass interference, defense number 11. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So that's A.J. Hampton, who's playing more due to the injury to Greg Newsome.
Yeah, and O'Connell double clutches. He wanted to go that way the entire time, and usually when a defender puts his hands up like that, it just looked like he stayed engaged. Looks like he had a jam on him, Brandon, and then the ball was thrown as he's still in his jam, just a little too long, drawing the pass interference.
Bell catches and then goes out of bounds, almost escaping Ruiz. Northwestern, though, 8 penalties. They had 9 last week. We mentioned the 4 penalties against Indiana in the end zone for pass interference, so they're really hurting themselves. Handoff, Horvath, short carry. That'll bring up 3rd down. Start to watch the clock here. 1 timeout for Purdue. Out of the shotgun, Bell won't get there. And they're out of the range of J.D. Dellinger, but on 4th down, now they're going to have to go for it. And a timeout taken with 1:08 left. And because you're out of Dellinger's range, well, are they going to bring Dellinger on here? I mean, he's going into the wind. He has hit a 53-yarder. But if you're Jeff Brom, I mean, you know your kicker, but I think you probably go for this, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going for this. And that time they tried to run a crossing route with David Bell, but Northwestern highly in tune to the fact that Bell's been targeted 19 times. So they played man coverage. They had a low hole spy and Patty Fisher, and he was just waiting for Bell to catch that football. So it was throw, catch, easy tackle for Fisher, and you have to go for this. I'm putting it in my quarterback's hands to pick it up here on 4th and short. It's a long kick for any college kicker, let alone the wind gusting in his face.
Yeah, it'd be a 56-yarder, and like you said, the wind that he's kicking into is about 15 miles an hour. Northwestern sideline trying to get this crowd fired up for a game-winning stop. Jeff Brom keeping his boys in the huddle as long as he can. Here we go, folks. This is the ball game. And the play won't get off. No flags. Timeout, Northwestern.
The ball being snapped. Second charge, team timeout, Northwestern.
So Pat Fitzgerald saw how Purdue lined up. He takes the timeout. Catch your breath. We'll take a 30-second timeout and be right back. Jeff Brom talking to his offense. 1:08 to go. Purdue facing a 4th and 4. And they have to convert. Aiden O'Connell, first career start. Back in his hometown. Here we go. Throwing it downfield for Bell. And it's picked off. There's a flag as well. The flag came in really late. J.R. Pace had the interception, but I believe Purdue's going to keep the football.
Yeah, that looked like a defensive hold on Cameron Ruiz. I thought that as the play was happening up here.
Pass interference, defense, number 18. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
You see Ruiz here. His hands are all over him right now. And then as he falls, the arms sliding down the legs. Right there. It almost looks like he tries to tackle him a little bit. The ball was incomplete anyway. And
Pat Fitzgerald was like, yes, we won. And then he realized, boy, another pass interference call on his secondary.
And as you mentioned, last week against Indiana, it was time and again giving them an opportunity. Did the same thing here.
Horvath. So now they are within J.D. Dellinger's range, but you'd like to get a little bit closer, certainly, if you're Jeff Braun.
Brandon, I'm trying to get as close as possible. You know this with kickers, no matter how good they are, it's going to be a 40-yarder right now. Get me as close as we can.
Horvath. And he'll take it for just 1 yard, so that gets you to about a 39-yard field goal. Again, he doesn't have any timeouts, so you have to factor that in as well here. So they're just going to have to take this down and spike it.
Yeah, you can't, that's the saying, you can't run another play and then spike it because of the risk of being a 4th down.
So they'll wind this down and clock it. 8 seconds, probably could have gone a couple more, and then you wouldn't have had to kick it off. But at any rate, J.D. Dellinger, who hit a 53-yarder earlier this year, will come out for a 39-yard attempt to try to give Purdue back-to-back wins. And of the 43 points scored in this game, 41 of them have gone with teams going the other direction, but Dellinger trying to buck that trend. Nick Zucchino will snap it. Danny Carollo will hold it. And before all of that happens, Pat Fitzgerald is going to ice the Purdue kicker.
Northwestern. 1 minute.
And all Aiden O'Connell can do is go down to a knee and pray.
Why?
Two pass interference calls on that drive that kept it alive for Purdue to go down the field and set this opportunity up. But again, Aiden O'Connell, you mentioned his ability to come in a week ago against Nebraska, lead them down for the game-winning drive. And if he makes this kick, it'll be another game-winning drive for the sophomore quarterback.
J.D. Dellinger, junior from Charlotte, North Carolina, 9 for 11 on field goals this year. A 39-yarder to win it for Purdue. And the kick into the teeth of the wind is good. And the Boilers lead at 24-22 with just 3 seconds remaining. And the hometown kid, the quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, put Dellinger in position for the go-ahead boot.
You see the kick here, driving it into the wind, down the middle. And how about the drive by Aiden O'Connell? We mentioned it a couple times. No one had gotten offensive points going that direction. Aiden O'Connell and Jeff Brom don't care. They said, watch us do it on this last drive. And you see how emotional the local kid is here. First start in front of family and friends. That's what makes this sport great.
He was 4 for 6 on that drive. Again, he was a walk-on. He had verbally committed to Division III Wheaton College changed course to walk on at Purdue, led him to the game-winning drive against Nebraska, 4 for 6 on that drive to set up what is likely to be the game-winning field goal. But still 3 seconds left here. So you would have to think we're going to see a squib kick and then a lot of laterals, whatever Northwestern can do to keep the ball alive. It's not a squib. He boots it into the end zone, so that will allow Northwestern to set up a play. Well, all teams practice these scenarios, James, but I don't know that you can ever truly replicate this.
No, you can't. And look, this is, you see Aiden still emotional there. I mean, can you imagine coming back, your first start? How do you script that? Your first start, coming back to where you're from, in front of family and friends, getting an opportunity to see you play. And look, you script these, it's usually on walkthroughs. You go through these scenarios on offense and defense, and you play your prevent type coverage, and if you're Northwestern, you just got to lateral it. You got to hope for one of those miracle plays you always see in those highlights growing up.
Well, we've seen it before. Aiden Smith throwing to Lease, and now Lease will just spin around and toss it the other way to Malik Washington, and now the ball is on the ground, and that will do it. Purdue snaps a 5-game losing streak against Northwestern. They get the game-winning field goal by J.D. Dellinger, and they win it 24-22.
And you know this win means a lot to Jeff Brom. When we were talking to him earlier in the week, he kept mentioning how he hasn't beaten Northwestern and how much respect he has for Coach Fitzgerald and his program. You kind of got the sense that this was the next step for his program. He wanted to beat Northwestern, and he knew what the record said, but he also knew that Northwestern was the defending Big Ten West champions. So this says something about this program.
3 second-half lead changes, and the last one, the big one. Speaking of Jeff Brom, who got his first win against Northwestern, he's with Elise.
Coach, your team snaps a 5-game losing streak against Northwestern. Aiden O'Connell again leads a game-winning drive. J.D. Dellinger finishes off. What did it take for your team to win today?
Well, we played to the end, and that's kind of been our strength to this point, is we play hard. I think our guys like to compete. By no means was it perfect, and it hasn't been all year, but I think we have a lot of guys that just want to win. This game meant something to us, and for us to hang in there when things didn't look as bleak as it did, I give a lot of credit to our players and our coaches.
Describe your quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, his first career start, basically a homecoming for him in this game. You know quarterbacks well. What did it take for him to lead this team to a win today?
He does a great job. His strength is he's got poise and he's got confidence. And you know, in a game like this, he was hot there at the beginning of the second half. They changed some things up and started playing a lot more pass coverage, dropping 8 guys, got him a little bit confused. But he hung in there to the end. I think if you give him time and he continues to get better, I really think that he can become a good quarterback. But very proud of him because he stepped up when his team needed him.
And J.D. Dellinger, the game-winning kick, just what did you see from him in that crucial moment?
Well, he's been outstanding all year, so he came through for us once again. Really, he's been a phenomenal player for us. He's worked his tail off. He's learned to really kick off the ball well, and his accuracy on field goals and extra points are phenomenal.
Thanks for the time, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dellinger hasn't missed a PAT, and now 10 of 12 on field goals this season, none bigger than number 10. To give Purdue the victory as we take a look at the updated Big Ten standings presented by Discover. Now Northwestern drops to 0-7, Purdue 3-4.
Yeah, and it's still bowl eligibility there ahead of Purdue. Now they have to still beat Indiana, and they still have to beat Wisconsin, but it's all still out in front of them.
Into the win, J.D. Dellinger. He knew it right after he kicked it, and he had the game winner. He's with Elise.
And J.D. tells me you were not nervous at all. Describe what that moment was like for you.
It was awesome. I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to help my team win this game, and credit to all the guys that even kept us in the game and even gave me a chance at the end.
Describe, though, that moment specifically and what it took, the poise and the focus to put it through.
Right, so every time I kick the ball, whether it's an extra point or a game-winning field goal, I always tell myself the same things, and I always do those same things and tell myself, and mentally it's the same kick every time, whether it's from 10 yards away or if it's 39-yard field goal to win the game. So
And then you see it go through. What's your reaction?
I was relieved. I was definitely relieved. Just excited that, you know, we won the game and that we're coming for some bowl chances now, so it's awesome.
What does it mean to win this game?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge because now we have 2 more games. Our destiny is in our hands now. And, yeah, that's awesome.
JD, thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, J.D. Dellinger from 39 yards away after Aiden O'Connell put the team in position, and Purdue gets a 24-22 victory. For Elise Miniker and James Laurinaitis, producer Jim Ressler, director Pat O'Connor, I'm Brandon Gautin. As that will wrap it up from Evanston and Ryan Field. We're going to take a break, and then after the break, we will join Mike, Glenn, and Joshua in our Chicago studio just down the road for a State Farm postgame as we say so long from Ryan Field.